Hello and welcome to CVR News Network. You're watching CVR English, and these are the details of World 360 with me, Sandeep. US President Donald Trump addressed concerns about Ukraine potentially using American-supplied long-range weapons to strike Russian cities. Trump stated that Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky should not attack Moscow using US weapons, following a Financial Times report detailing private talks between the two leaders. According to the report, Trump has asked Zelensky whether he could hit Moscow and St. Petersburg if US provided Ukraine with long-range missiles. Zelensky reportedly replied that he could target both cities. Trump was questioned about these alleged discussions by reporters on July 15th, clarifying his stance against such attacks.
Russia 50 days. What happens now? Do you talk to Vladimir Putin?
Well, at the end of 50 days, if we don't have a deal, it's going to be too bad.
Well, what happens
Should Zelensky get more aggressive?
The tariffs are going to go on and other sanctions go on.
Should Zelensky target Moscow? Should Zelensky target Moscow, sir? Should Zelensky target Moscow or deeper into Russia?
No, he shouldn't target Moscow.
Is that why you gave him more weapons, though?
long range missiles to Ukraine as well? And that you had about the 50 days.
No, we're not looking to do that.
Mr. President, why are you giving Mr. Putin 50 additional days to prosecute this war against?
Oh, I don't think 50 days is very long, and it could be sooner than that. I don't think 50 days is very long.
Mr. President,
you should have asked that same question to Biden. Why did he get us into this war? You should ask that question. Yeah, and what did he tell you? Why did he get us into this war? You know why he got us in? Because he's a dummy. That's why. And you don't cover it right. Yeah.
Sir, on Texas.
Are you on Ukraine's side now?
No, I'm on nobody's side. I want to. You know what the side I'm on? Humanity's side. I want to stop the killing of thousands of people a week. I want to stop the killing. I want the killing to stop in the Ukraine-Russia war. That's the side I'm on.
Israel has intensified its military actions near the Syria border, striking Syrian tanks and armored vehicles after forces loyal to Damascus entered the Druze majority city of Swedia, and deadly clashes between Druze militias and Sunni Bedouin tribes. The Israeli Defense Forces stated that the strikes were part of a broader effort to enforce a demilitarized buffer zone and protect the Druze community, which has historical and familiar ties to Israel. Prime Minister Netanyahu emphasized Israel's commitment to preventing harm to Druze civilians and maintaining regional stability.
لكن شهادات نقلية التي أشار إليها أن كانت تشير إلى استمرار الحرب
Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu reaffirmed his government's stance on safeguarding the Druze community, stating, "We are also committed to protecting the Druze residents," during a visit to a military base in Jordan Valley. This declaration follows a series of Israeli airstrikes targeting Syrian government forces in Swedia, a Druze majority province in southern Syria, where sectarian violence has erupted between Druze militias and Bedouin tribes.
אנחנו פועלים גם בסוריה היום, מהבוקר. יש לנו מחויבות לשמור על אזור דרום מערב סוריה כשטח מפורז בגבול ישראל. אנחנו לא נרשה לחזור למצב שמקיימים לנו שם לבנון שנייה. אנחנו גם מחויבים לשמור על התושבים הדרוזים. אנחנו עושים זאת באמצעות פעולות עצימות. אני מקווה שלא נצטרך לפעול יותר. זה תלוי מאוד במה שמבינים. אזור דרום מערב סוריה כשטח מפורז בגבול ישראל. אנחנו לא נרשה לחזור למצב שמקיימים לנו שם לבנון שנייה. אנחנו גם מחויבים לשמור על התושבים הדרוזים. אנחנו עושים זאת באמצעות פעולות עצימות. אני מקווה שלא נצטרך לפעול יותר. זה תלוי מאוד במה שמבינים וגם עושים וגם לא עושים. אנחנו פועלים גם בסוריה היום, מהבוקר. יש לנו מחויבות לשמור על אזור דרום.
Israeli forces struck the entrance of Syria's military headquarters in Damascus, escalating tensions amid ongoing sectarian violence in southern Syria. The Israeli Defense Forces stated that attack was response to the Syrian regime's action against the Druze civilians in Swedia, a city that has witnessed deadly clashes between the Druze militias and Bedouin tribes. The strike followed Israel's warning that it would intensify military operations unless Syrian government forces to withdraw the contested southern regions. Syrian security forces have since increased their presence near the Ministry of Defense in Damascus, monitoring the situation closely. The situation in Syria's Swedia province has escalated dramatically, with at least 248 people killed in recent days amid the fierce clashes between the Druze fighters, Bedouin tribes and Syrian government forces. The violence was reportedly triggered by a kidnapping incident involving a Druze merchant, which spiraled into tit-for-tat abductions and armored confrontations. Government troops entered Swedia earlier this week, claiming to restore the order, but according to the observers and local factions, they sided with Bedouin fighters and carried out similar executions and looting in Druze neighborhoods. The Syrian Observatory for Human Rights reported that among the dead were 92 Druze individuals, including 28 civilians and 138 Syrian security personnel.
ما مش عارف في لا لا ما مش عارف مسعود يا والله دخلت ما معي سلاح بطل يا شباب درون دخل يلا شباب ما همش حالة في لا ما همش حالة مسعود يا والله دخلت ما معي سلاح بطل يا شباب درون دخل يلا شوي
A wave of drone strikes hit 3 oil fields in Iraq's northern Kurdistan region on July 16th, including one operated by Hunt Oil in Dohuk province at 7:14 a.m. Kurdish time, and the Kurdish counter-terrorism forces confirmed that the attack caused no casualties or material damage. But it marked the fifth such incident in a week, raising alarm over the safety of foreign-operated energy infrastructure. Earlier that morning, 2 other drones struck in Pesh Kabir and Tauke fields run by Norwegian firm DNO ASA, prompting a temporary suspension of operations due to damage to storage tanks and processing equipment. These attacks follow a similar strike on the Sarsang oil field operated by US firm HKN Energy, which triggered a major fire and halted production. Adelita Grijalva has officially won the Democratic primary for Arizona's 7th congressional district to seat her late father. Republic Raul Grijalva held for over 20 years. She secured 62% of the vote, defeating the field of challengers that include General Z activist Deja Fox and former state Representative Daniel Hernandez. The district, which spans parts of Tucson and much of Arizona's southern border, is considered solidly Democratic, making Adelcia the strong favorite to win the September 23rd special general election against Republican nominee Daniel Gutierrez. Adelita Grijalva, a former Pima County supervisor, campaigned on continuing her father's progressive legacy, with endorsements from prominent figures like Senator Bernie Sanders and Representative Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez. If elected, she would become Arizona's first Latina in Congress, marking a historic milestone for the state.
Seriously, some boosters from Senator Mark Kelly and Gabby Gifford. Senator Gallego, who called me like 10 minutes ago and said congratulations. I'm like, I haven't called it. So yeah. And Senator Bernie Sanders. Thank you. This race is not over. We can't put anything past people. We're going to take a quick little respite, a deep breath, and then we're going to come back stronger. Muchas gracias. Thank you so much. Muchas gracias. Seriously, some boosters from Senator Mark Kelly and Gabby Gifford. Senator Gallego, who called me like 10 minutes ago and said congratulations. I'm like, I haven't called it. So yeah. And Senator Bernie Sanders. Thank you. This race is not over. We can't put anything past people. We're going to take a quick little respite, a deep breath, and then we're going to come back stronger. Muchas gracias. Thank you so much.
Bradley John Murdoch, convicted of murdering British backpacker Peter Falconio in 2001, died on July 15, 2025 at age 67 in palliative care at Alice Springs Hospital. Despite hopes that his terminal illness might prompt a confession, Murdoch never revealed the location of the Falconio's body. Murdoch was sentenced to life imprisonment in 2005 for Falconio's murder and the attempted kidnapping of John Lees, Falconio's girlfriend. The couple had been traveling through the Central Australia when Murdoch tricked them into stopping their van. Lees escaped and later identified Murdoch, whose conviction was supported by DNA evidence and a hair tie belonging to her found in the vehicle. Authorities had doubled the reward for 500,000 Australian dollars for information leading to Falconio's remains, but Murdoch remained silent until his death. His refusal to cooperate has left the Falconio family without closure, and the case remains one of Australia's most haunting unsolved mysteries. Los Angeles Mayor Karen Bass made that statement following the withdrawal of 2,000 National Guard troops from the city, which had been deployed by Trump administration amid immigration-related protest. Bass praised the move as a symbolic victory for the civic unity and local resistance, emphasizing that the deployment was unnecessary and politically motivated. She credited the outcome to peaceful protests, legal challenges, and community solidarity, saying, Angelino stood strong and stood united in opposing the federal military presence. The Pentagon's decision marked a turning point in contentious standoff between federal and local authorities over the use of military force in domestic affairs.
I am here to say that we've had an important victory. I think because Los Angeles stood strong, because we understood what it meant that the federal government came in and seized power away from our governor regarding the deployment of the National Guard and inappropriately sent the National Guard here when they were not needed. The administration has finally understood that they need to withdraw the troops. Let me say that this is what happens when the city stands strong, because we have been united. When people peacefully protest, when people raise the concerns about having National Guard in a situation where they were, as far as I'm concerned, used as props. We are a city of 500 square miles. We had problems in about 2 square miles. It lasted for a couple of days. I initiated a curfew. We have had no problems or for weeks. So why were they here? It is a misuse of the men and I am here to say that we've had an important victory. I think because Los Angeles stood strong, because we understood what it meant that the federal government came in and seized power away from our governor regarding the deployment of the National Guard and inappropriately sent the National Guard here when they were not needed. The administration has finally understood that they need to withdraw the troops. Let me say that this is what happens when the city stands strong, because we have been united, when people peacefully protest, when people raise the concerns about having National Guard in a situation where they were, as far as I'm concerned, used as props. We are a city of 500 square miles. We had problems in about 2 square miles. It lasted for a couple of days. I initiated a curfew. We have had no problems for weeks. So why were they here? It is a misuse of the men. And I am here to say that we've had an important victory. I think because Los Angeles stood strong.
President Donald Trump announced plans to impose over 10% tariffs on the imports from smaller nations, specifically targeting countries in Africa and Caribbean. Speaking to reporters after returning from Pennsylvania, he said that we'll probably set one tariff for all of them, referring to a uniform rate on goods from at least 100 countries. Commerce Secretary Howard Lutnick clarified that these nations typically have modest trade volumes with the U.S. and would not significantly impact Trump's broader goal of reducing the trade imbalances. The new tariffs are scheduled to take effect August 1st, following a 90-day negotiation period that ended on July 9th.
How many more trade deals beyond the letters will you announce before August 1st?
We're working on probably 5 or 6. Of the 5 or 6, I'm not sure I really want to do them. You know, you want somebody that knows how to negotiate, but we'll probably have 2 or 3. You know, we insist on opening up the country, which is a big deal. Indonesia was great. He's a great president, and we made a terrific deal where they opened up the entire country to trade with the United States. We weren't allowed to go in and trade. I think something similar will happen with I would say, India, and we have a couple of others. But I have to tell you, for the most part, I'm very happy with the letters. The letters are a deal. You know, I can't explain it any better. But don't forget, we'll be releasing a letter soon talking about many countries that are much smaller, where you're not going to do letters per se. You might do an individual letter, but it's going to go very quickly. And the number will also be less.
Which countries are those?
These are countries that are, many of them, you know, like 200 countries. You understand?
Caribbean countries, African countries. You have a huge amount of countries that are small, and the president's just going to deal with them sort of the way he thinks is the right way to deal with them.
We'll probably set one tariff for all of them.
Over 10%? Over 10% tariff?
Probably a little over 10%, yeah.
15, 20?
We don't do a lot of business, but we do, you know, it's still significant. But I don't understand why the Jeffrey Epstein case would be of interest to anybody. It's pretty boring stuff. It's sordid, but it's boring. And I don't...
How many more trade deals beyond the letters will you announce before August 1st?
We're working on probably 5 or 6. Of the 5 or 6, I'm not sure I really want to do them. You know, you want somebody that knows how to negotiate. But we'll probably have 2 or 3. You know, we insist on opening up the country, which is a big deal.
Russian Foreign Minister Sergei Lavrov accused Ukraine of deliberately dragging out the next round of peace talks. The remark came amid heightened tensions and renewed diplomatic efforts, including Lavrov's recent meeting with U.S. Secretary of State Marco Rubio at the ASEAN summit in Malaysia. Lavrov criticized Kiev for failing to respond to proposals for a third round of direct negotiations, which Russia claims are necessary to pursue a peaceful resolution to the conflict. Kremlin spokesperson Dmitry Peskov echoed this sentiment, stating that Moscow is still waiting for the signal from Ukraine, indicating its willingness to resume talks.
Мы хотим понять, что стоит за этим заявлением. 50 дней, было раньше и 24 часа было, и 100 дней было. Мы все это проходили и действительно хотим понять, чем движем президент Соединенных Штатов. Ясно, что он находится под огромным, я бы сказал, неприличным давлением Европейского Союза и нынешнего руководства НАТО, которые бесцеремонно поддерживают требования Зеленского продолжать накачивать его современным, в том числе наступательным оружием, за счет все большего и большего ущерба налогоплательщикам в западных странах. Говорить о том, что нет никакого прогресса, и поэтому вот 50 дней, если бы на неделе с 22 июня украинская сторона согласилась назвать дату третьего раунда, может быть, там уже и 30 бы дней осталось. Вот. Но это нас... Мы хотим понять, что стоит за этим заявлением. 50 дней, было раньше и 24 часа было, и 100 дней было. Мы все это проходили и действительно хотим понять, чем движим президент Соединенных Штатов. Ясно, что он находится под огромным, я бы сказал, неприличным давлением Европейского Союза и нынешнего руководства НАТО, которые бесцеремонно поддерживают.
King Charles III hosted the member of India's men's and women's cricket team at Clarence House on July 15th, just a day after England clinched a dramatic 22-run victory at the third test at Lord's. During the meeting, King expressed sympathy over Mohammad Siraj's dismissal, which sealed India's defeat. He told Indian captain Shubman Gill that it was really annoying just to touch the bells, referring to the ball that spun back to the stumps. Gill responded that the match was unfortunate but could have gone either way, and the team hoped for the better luck in the remaining tests. The King also met with the Indian women's team, who had just celebrated their first ever T20 series win against England on English soil. The gathering, organized by the British Asian Trust, served as a moment of cultural diplomacy and commemorate between the Commonwealth nations.
I hope he doesn't interrupt you to trade.
We just finished a match yesterday, so it was.
No, I saw it on the news.
He's scored a sensational motor runs.
Wasn't it? But are you good at keeping as well? You catch everything.
That's my job, sir.
Maybe you can get past. Very impressive.
Just the one person you don't want.
Really have to know. We have selectors who are in the country.
No. I was just a little bowler, that's all. Not very good. How are you good choice too. We're very good. How are you? Good.
This is a bowler. Half bowler.
Bowler, field, I was on the field a little, I did it all.
Trying our best. It's been going good.
Yeah.
Good series going on.
Yeah.
Contest.
Yeah.
That's the end of the bulletin. Keep watching CVR News English.